Hey guys, yeah, hope you are doing great. We're going to be making something similar to this, not necessarily this exactly, but we're going to draw inspiration from this work by uh, Milan Ivanov. Ivanov. Yeah, so you can check out his art station gallery. Has quite a lot of interesting work, but we're going to draw inspiration from this to make something similar like this. Hey Pacho Pachev, how are you doing? Yeah, so let's get started. I'm just going to open up my Blender file here, drop in the image, and but before we start, let me show you the yeah. This is what we did in the last streams, and I guess I'll be continuing. I'll be adding more details here to this, but I'll do this in my free time, not in the stream, because I think most of the work has been done on this. So I'll just do the extras in my free time. Also, but this is what we're going to be making. And hello, Bezad Karim, how are you doing? Yeah, so this is what we're going to be making, something similar to that. And what we can do is start by making the tires, and then we can scale from there and see how things go. So I'm just having this on my side screen. Now we can start with the tire. So for the tire, let's start with this wheel here. Add a plane, or turn on random colors, and maybe turn on cavity as well. Let me scale this. Let me add a loop and then delete this side so that I can use the mirror modifier, like so. And if we add a few loops like this, we can use the bend modifier. Is that bend? Sorry, surface deform modifier. We just need to find the right angle. Let's try X, Y. Okay, this is okay. Now it's sometimes hard to find the right axis, so what I'm going to do is just add an empty like this. Just make sure that it's in the same position as my plane, and then I'm going to select it as the origin. Now I can rotate this instead of rotating the plane until I get the right axis. So I think this is what we want, but in the opposite direction like this. We want to have a slight bend like this. Remember, we're trying to make this tire here. Now what we can do is add an array. I just remove the offset and make sure you have you add just an object offset. Now for the object offset, I'm just going to add an empty. I'll use a cube. Let me just reduce the size a bit of the cube like this. Now if I move the cube to the position of the plane, and I use that empty as the object offset like that, and see now I can control my array. Now I just have to move this around. Let me increase the bend here. Maybe something like this. So now I just have to rotate this. Hello, Open Movies. Welcome back. You just have to rotate this and position it so that this can touch, and make sure under the array you turn on merge and merge last. Now we can just increase the array count until we have our tire. And you are in Blender yourself. Nice. We can do this along as you can follow along. Hi man, Techno. Hi man. Hi man, love your work. Thank you. Hope you're doing great. So now the reason why I'm doing it working like this is that now I can just go in here and make the design I want. So if I use the knife tool, so let me see. I think this is like, let's see. If I use the knife tool to add any design, let me just do something simple here. Extrude that. You can see that it's repeated everywhere. I don't have to do a lot of work to get this to repeat. With this Ali Nisir, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Will this be left in the channel? Yes, this video is going to be available as well as VOD. So now, yeah, that's the reason why I'm working like this, so that I can easily have control over this. But there are other ways you can work to make this even look, to make the process even better. So let's just add this, I don't know how to call it. So let me see, how does it look? So if we start like this, just offset this like that. Maybe have that like that as well. Again, there are several ways you can approach this. I'm choosing this to do this like this because I think it's it might be a bit easier. So then I can maybe select this. Let me first insert it and then extrude it up like that. I can turn on auto smooth, so like that. Then insert, let me see, I can insert this. Now we have a few issues, yes, so let me just merge those vertices. Then maybe insert this further and then push this onto the inside like that. But if you look closely, these are not aligning with the side, with the second side here. So I think what we can do is just first apply this mirror and maybe first turn off all these modifiers so that they're not getting in the way. Now we can select this side, hit Y, then move, offset this a bit, but make sure that these vertices are aligning. You can even move in closer, so maybe around there. Zoom in really tight, just make sure that everything is aligning. Then we can select everything and then merge by distance. And we also have this extra space. So for that, just extrude this face. Make sure it's aligning with this. Just fill it in. Do the same on this side. Make sure they're aligned. Then fill it in like that. Well, actually, since we're going to use the array, we don't need to fill this in at all. We can just have the array be continuous. So we need to make sure that they align as expected. You can also use Ctrl Alt Q to subdivide these into different views. And just let me first turn off this simple deform, just so I can position these correctly. It can be sometimes a bit hard to do like this, but yeah, I just wanted to show you this workflow as well. So instead of doing that, let's first let's try this in a different way, because I think this is going to be harder to align if we do it like that. So just use the array, a regular array. And first make sure that everything lines up correctly. Make sure you also have this merge effect turned on. And I think there is too much gap between these, so let's select these, make sure that they're a bit closer. Now that there are no gaps, and there are no intersecting. You can do that, and then just use the bend modifier or surface deform like this. This here, surface deform. Sorry, simple deform. I am glad I can catch you live. I love your works. Thank you, Madi Ebim. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but let's have the bend there. Again, just get the right axis. Again, sometimes it's very hard to get the right axis. That's why I'm using an empty. It makes it easier to find the right axis. So I'm going to rotate this on the Y, is it? Then let's see. Yeah. So let's rotate this the opposite direction. This time, make sure that the angle is 360, but we are lacking one extra portion there, so that should be easy because you can just connect it directly here. So I'm just going to extrude this and make sure this face is aligning with that. Do the same here. Now turn back this array. And yeah, we have our tire. Now if you want this to be close, a bit thinner, you just go to edit mode and start moving things closer like that. So this is going to be our tire, and for now I can just apply the array and then the simple deform, so that I don't have to worry about that too much anymore. Now So the reason why I wanted to first get the tires is because I wanted to get the position of the car. So I'm just going to Alt D duplicate this, and then Alt D. So we have something like this, so that we get the position or the size of the car we want to make. Maybe bring this behind. Now we are going to build this from bottom up. So let's start adding our modifiers as we need them to be. I just want this to be in middle, so I'm just going to select this, cursor selected, and then like that, and add a cut there. So we're going to use the mirror modifier, and then add a bevel modifier on top of that. Make sure we apply the scale. Now we can start with the bottom part. So I'm selecting this, push that in. We add a loop here. This car has a lot of sharp edges, so yeah, we're also going to try and capture those as well. So there, I think I can bring this around here, and go to the front view, drag this like that. You can see how our bevel is handling these curves here. Just going to reduce that a bit, turn on hide normals, and then auto smooth like so. Just save this somewhere safe. Let's call this car, copy that. I'm just going to pick up pace here because I think we are becoming very slow here. We're going too slow, so I'm just going to select, push this in, also maybe extrude this. Then select remember, this is a concept car, so we can just handle the shape any way we want. I have an idea of what I want to do, so this front here could be a bit wider, so I'm just going to get that. Select these, and then we can have I am working on an SMG right now. Nice. You can share the results in my Discord server, so that I can check that out. So let's extrude a face here. Just move things around. I'm going to select these, push these out a bit, these cheeks just out a bit, so that I can align this vertex with that. Now I can select this edge. Again, I'm using this reference image as inspiration. We're not going to do exactly what we are seeing there. I can extrude this, so we have something like so. The stream ended for you. I don't know. Hello, Medo Abo Ali. How are you doing? Hope you are doing great. see, I think you can start to see the shape we're going for here. Now we can readjust the shapes or the design as we go. Because this is going to be a muscle car with hard edges and everything. Maybe let me elongate this part here so that it protrudes out even further. There, can add a loop here. Just round this off just a bit. We're going to have some headlights here. So let's start adding a few details. You can see I want this to have some kind of a bed to add in a few other things, and also I want this side to be shaped just a little bit like this. So I want this here to protrude out. Also want this to be a sharp edge. Okay, and we can have the side mirror around here. So I'm just going to select this edge, extrude that in. Now we're going to have our side mirror around there. So then can just close that loop there. Our door is going to be on the inside there. can add another edge loop here to push out our windshield. I think what's going to make this more interesting is to first add in some materials here. So I'm going to add in a noise texture, noise. I'm just going to use object mapping for this. Now we can use this, if I scale it down a bit, we can use this for the color and the roughness. So let's colorize it using the color ramp. So you can just sample some of the colors we have here. Use that for the base color and the roughness. We can add a math node on top of that just to control the roughness a bit. Now, if we look at this, and this should be metallic. Have something like that. You're going to add in these kind of lights here because I think those look kind of interesting. So let's cut them out by adding an edge loop around here. Now we can bevel these two edges, drag them down. Select this, push it up, maybe bevel this edge. Like that, bevel this edge. Also scale that in. You want to have something that looks mean. So insert that and then extrude to the inside. I like that. Now we don't want this dent here. I don't know. Yeah, we don't need it. So just going to select that, push it in, and make sure you have clipping turned on for the mirror. Hello Vision series, how are you? How are you doing? And thank you for being around again. And now we can start adding in those lights. So I'm just going to select, let's see, this edge loop and then that. Shift D to scale it down, to duplicate it and then scale it down. Then can turn that into a face, add a loop maybe there, pull that out like that. Now we can give this new material and assign. This should be a glass material. So let's reduce the alpha and the transmission and the reflectiveness, something like that. And then inside of that, we can duplicate the same thing. We can scale it down this time, maybe scale it like that. and this time give it, I'm just going to call this glass. Now create another material. This time is going to be light, so we can give it that emissive light. This is one of the best channels about Blender. Thank you for that. Thank you. IKR, I'm not sure what you mean there. Just change the value to about 4. Make sure you assign that to that. You can see we have our light inside of that. So Cycles doesn't really do very well when rendering emissive materials. But sorry, Eevee doesn't handle emissive materials really well, but we just have to go with that. And we're going to repeat the same steps here. So select that, Shift D, give it the glass material, fill this in, add a loop there, and push that out like that. Then Ctrl L, select it again, Shift D, scale it in, so that's on the inside. Now that is going to be our emissive light. Have to do this for this as well. Shift D, scale it in, F, push it out, give it the glass material, Shift D, push it in, give it the light material. Now let's work on our windshield here. We still need a few sharp edges for it, but I guess let's first make sure that everything here looks nice. Just going to subdivide this. Remember that our windshield is going to settle here, sit there. We need to push this in. So also we need to decide where our windshield is going to go. So I think we're also going to need, let me first turn off this bevel modifier, because sometimes can be confusing a bit. So if I subdivide this, can pull this maybe. Tad, how are you? You wish you can model like this? Of course you can. Of course you can, and maybe even better. You just have to put in some time. If you are not good at modeling, it takes time, but when you start getting it, you really get it. First remove those faces. think I need to delete that face so that I can connect this edge with that. So we have something like that, and then this will be our door. We can still make a few improvements on this. I think one of the improvements is that this can be more straight, maybe even be rotated in just a bit. Now this door will have to swing behind while it's opening. Now we can start shaping out this tire area, and you can use the spin tool here. Just going to have it around there. We can reduce the number of segments. Then we can extrude that in like that. They have this connected to this. The best way to approach a project like this is to first start with some sketches, but I'm not very good at that. I'm better at just doing things in 3D. Yeah, you can start out by drawing some concept art, and then you can do everything else right from there. Since I'm not very good at that, I'm just going to handle this the way I know how, the best way I know how. Now that is just going directly into Blender and start messing with different things. I want that sharp edge to be continuous. To go up to there like that. All I read is nothing. TGBed bra field. I'm not sure what you mean. Okay, so let's see how the backside. I think the backside is coming out nicely as well. Let's bring back the bevel out of smooth. Now we can start carving out spaces for our windshield. So I think it should, can select, can add a loop around here. Loop around here. And I should connect to this, but I shouldn't extend that way. And I'll figure out how it should continue here, but for now let me just select this. I also want this protruding thing here, so I'm just going to add that like that. Maybe we can have an extra loop. I don't think it's necessary, so we can just select these faces then extrude them along their normals to push the windshield in like that. Now we can give that our glass material. Then let's start adding in our own details. So what I want is this, the way I want this to open up is so if I select this here, this is going to be our bonnet, including the lights and everything. So this should open up around from there up to around here. So we can add loops that go all the way down here, and then we can select, let me first turn off the bevel. So we want everything here to be a separate object, even this here. Want to separate that. So if I hit P, I can separate it into its own object, and now I can add a solidify modifier. Let me isolate this for a second so that I show you what we are going to be doing. Increase the thickness. Let's just recalculate the normals, but only show or render only rims. And what that gives us is that it gives us this extra thickness. So let me show you. So it's like that. Now we have that, and if we have this above the bevel, and see, we get that free edge there. And then let's make sure that the angle is, the limit method is set to angle. And, yeah. And also, we want only this hood to have this solidify modifier. So I'm just going to give it a vertex group, and I use that vertex group for our solidify modifier. Now if I bring back this, I also want parts of this to have the same treatments. So after this bevel, we can add another. Okay, it seems we have a solidify modifier on this here. So I know it doesn't have it, so you just need to add another solidify modifier, again only rims. Now if we bring this, just have to make sure that this is above or below above our bevel. It might cause a few issues, so before we add that, we'll come back to that later because it might cause a few issues. I think it's also causing a few issues here. We can also add in a few details here. So if I can select this, hit Y, and push that in just a bit, and add a few loops like that. Then I can select just a few of them. Then pull them out. Hello, Zelf and Zach. How are you doing? Now, let's detail the back side. I don't want this to be slant like this, so I'm just going to first delete this portion. First, kind of extend this edge loop here, like that. I'm going to trim out my bed first, but first let's let me see, where is this edge loop heading? Okay, doesn't really add much, so you can have this connected to this. No, actually no. Let's try connecting this here to this here. There's a lot to figure out here because of how this bends, and I think we can just, before we do this, and this is why I would recommend to first sketch out your idea before you start working on it. But just wanted to wing it and just use one reference image here to design my own concept. Just bring this down, add a loop there, connect this to this, and so our bed is going to be something like that, and this should continue like that. Just going to pull this vertex here. Can always come back to this and change it a bit. I think for this back we can add a very large headlight, sorry, backlight or brake light, whatever you want to call it. Insert want it to be continuous, so I'm just going to set and we can give this a glass material as well, but this time it's going to be red glass. Same to that, let's call this red glass. Reduce the alpha value, and we can duplicate this, scale it in, maybe on the z-axis as well, drag that in, and we can create another duplicate of the light material, a duplicate of the light material, assign it to that, and just make sure that it emits red light. Just bridge this here. I'm just going to loop this to continue this side instead of just adding it as an extra loop here. I think this can also just be extended this side. I hope by the end of the stream and everyone can appreciate how much work I went into creating this asset here by Milen Ivanok. Because you can see here, it's quite a lot of effort to do such a piece. I think we can add in a few extra details here. So if I just add a loop around here, I'll just divert it here so that it doesn't go this side, and I can insert this and just pull this edge up like that, just to add in a few small details. Wait, how did I'll be right back. That what you mean? Hello Donova, how are you doing? Why is your username changing? I'm not sure why. Maybe you just using a different account that you forgot about, but yeah, it's definitely weird if it's changing for you. We're also going to use a few different materials here. Let me pull this back. Add this to that. Okay, let's start breaking up this a bit so that it looks a bit different. It looks a bit nicer than this. So just going to set this as a different materials. Make this a bit darker as well, just so it breaks up the material just a bit. Now maybe we don't want this to be a metal material. Let me first turn off the bloom, and let's use some bumps for this as well, so that it looks a bit rougher. Now we don't want it to be that rough, just a bit rough like that. Open our render movies. What was broken? I'm not sure what was broken. Now let's work on this door here, so that we also get that looking like an interesting door. So I'm just going to separate this into its own object. First of all, I want to have a few sharp edges like that. And if this is a window, or we can also first, let's see, maybe add a loop here. So this is going to be glass, so I'll separate it, hide it for a second. I can extrude this, and for this glass, this glass can be pushed in a bit inside like that, and it should be coming from the inside here. So I'm just going to bevel this edge like that, maybe add a loop there and add a loop there. So no, actually that will not look nice. So let's first give these their respective materials. Let's make this a bit darker so that it can look better in our renders, in the render viewport. You're learning fast, huh? Good to know. Good to know. Good to hear. And let's also add our handle here. I'm just going to create something very simple here. Put this on the x-axis. And you can see, if you learn the basics, you start to realize that what I'm doing here is just repeating the same steps over and over to get different shapes. So you can see, I think this maybe just improve it, make it a bit smaller. So that's going to be our handle, and I'm also going to cut out an area for the handle because this is looking too basic for me. So I think you can insert this and maybe push that in just a bit, so that we can get a nice handle. But we need to fix a few things. I like this edge here, it's too sharp, so maybe let's have something like that. And I'm just going to extend this way in, so I'm just also going to push this in. Let me first turn off this, so I'm going to select this, first. Now I'm going to skew it using the skew tool to align it with other vertices like that, and hopefully that can take care of a few things, a few of the issues we are having. And this vertex here, this edge loop should continue like that, so we can get rid of those shading issues we have. So this can be pushed in as well. Just trying to reduce the size of the end cone we are having here, and also trying to smoothen some areas that are becoming sharp, a bit sharp, too sharp for me. So this can be pushed in back. I think that's a nicer detail we have just added in. For our doors. Let's create this kind of bottom thing here. I'm just going to select those faces, Shift D, and then parent them. Sorry, separate them. Just going to grab these, then select those, extrude them up like that. Now we can add these things here by just use edge loops here. Okay, let's create a variation of this material. I'm just going to add a color hue and saturation node here. Just play with the hue to get a slightly different color. And maybe this is not metallic, this is just plastic. You can change the value to make it a bit darker. And to sell this, I think a bit more, we're going to need some metallic bars. So for those, I'm just going to use, let's see, what should we use? I can just add a loop around here, duplicate that, and then separate it into its own object. And I can use Alt S to push that out just a bit along its normals, and I think we can round off this corner here using Ctrl B to have something like that. And we can also smoothen the vertices just a bit so that everything is more rounded. And I'm also going to extrude or push these out just a bit like that. Just something I think would improve the general design. Then round off those corners as well, round off this as well, and then this Ctrl Shift B, and these two like that. So we have that going around. Now we can go to Object, Convert, Curve, then under Curve, Geometry, Bevel, Shade Smooth. Okay, the thickness is a bit too high. Just going to reduce that a bit. Now let's create a new metamaterial. Metal. Give it a value of 1. Reduce the roughness. Now this time what we're going to do is add a texture, image texture, and let's add in some scratches to this. Let's use, I think, I don't know, maybe let's use this. Connect them directly into the roughness, but remember we haven't UV unwrapped this. So instead of using texture coordinates, UV texture coordinates, I'm just going to use object texture coordinates. Now whenever you use object texture coordinates, you need to make sure that you change from flat to box. You can see that we have some scratches now on that. I'm also going to use these scratches onto our car here because I think it looks a bit too clean. So if we look at this for a second, you can see how our scratches are. Now we just need to mix them with this here. So I'll just add a convert math node to mix the two. Maybe make this a bit larger. Now if we preview this, you can see we are starting to see some extra detail. Okay. Alright, let's just reuse the same material here. So just call this plastic. Actually, this is supposed to be plastic. So this should also use the same material. These glasses here. Okay, the lights should use a different glass than the windshield. So let's just duplicate that glass material and just call this light glass, assign to that light. Actually, just make sure you duplicate it. This should remain as glass, and this should be glass material, and we need this to have some alpha to it. And shouldn't have any shadow to it. And let's continue working on this door for a second. Actually, I think the doors, we're good with the doors. And what I'm going to do is just use this as the mirror object for the doors. And we can reset the origin of the door or pivot point of the door to somewhere like that. And, now if you want, you can see how this would open. So let's add that kind of bed up here. I don't know if you call it bed, but just call it that. I want this edge here to be sharp as well, so I'm just going to pull it up so we have that as sharp as well. Yeah, it should be a straight line like that. We can add a loop here. So I'll subdivide those and then select this here, insert, then push up. Power 33. Yeah, I looked at this and it looks like the Westworld buggy that was in season 2. If you watched season 2. Popped up to say hi. Yeah, hello there. I think it looks like those buggies that were in season 2. Yeah. I think this was also supposed to be a separate object, so just hit P, separate that. Let me first hide them for a second and fill in this hole here. I can unhide that. And, just fill these in as well. We need you modeling hard surfaces. I think this can also pass as a hard surface, because it's yeah, it's a hard surface, I guess. And the trick to modeling hard surfaces is to retain these hard edges, and the bevel profile, the bevel modifier can really help. Also, if I wanted to retain this shape while using the subdivision surface, because I have this bevel modifier, you can see it makes it retain that shape. I just have to come in and fix a few issues, but basically that's usually what you do when you're doing hard surfaces. Now let's add a few of I think these, I'm not sure how to call them. Just have to have the same angle like that. I'm wondering if FIB, we need, it was Pearl 33. Are you watching season 3 as well? Because I've just watched the first episode and I think it's really nice. And it hasn't confused me yet, but yeah, we still have a few episodes to go. I want non-destructive modeling. Yeah, I think we can do that as well, maybe next time. So I can actually, let me just extrude this. Also give it a paper modifier, apply the scale, reduce, turn on harden normals, then auto-smooth as well. Then we can, I think, just use the array on this. Let's give it the plastic material. Now what I'm also going to do, to make my life easier, I'm just going to select this, delete this vertex, and for the thickness, I'm just going to add a solidified modifier. Just make sure that this is above the bevel. Then now I can add in details much easier. So I think that makes it look even cooler like that. Now let's add a few details here, like we see in this car here. Also just going to pull these up just a bit, and I have that there. Now what I'm going to do here, first let's separate this into a different object. So that we don't have extra edge loops going into it. So I think what I can do here is let me first round off this edge here like that, and maybe this here as well, but let's first get rid of that. Let's round off this vertex. I'm using Ctrl Shift B to round off edges. Let's first remove these extra ones for now. Now what I want to do is create this line here like that. Ctrl B. Just make sure you have one extra edge loop in the middle like that, and then select that. Now we can push that along its normals. Now if we turn back the this bevel, you can see we get that nice detail. Just want to straighten this up just a bit. So we're going to do these quite often. And, let's also add that camera placement. So I'm just going to subdivide this, or maybe just pull this vertex here, then select this like that, and just first remove that vertex so we can round off this edge. Let's get rid of a few of these. And you can select this here, then extrude that, then scale it like that. So we're going to have a few polygon solid topology issues here, but yeah, we can fix those quite easily. Especially around here. This is a very tight area. So what I'm going to do is first delete this face so that I fix a few issues we are having here. Maybe even delete that vertex here. So we have something like that. Let's see if I add a loop here. I can delete this vertex. I think we can have something like that, and shouldn't cause too many problems, I think. Can insert this now. Just bring this edge loop back. I'm pressing G twice to push back, to slide back the vertex or the edge like that. Now we can we can use the same details as he used, but we're just going to make these a bit different. So let me add a circle for that camera. Hit F, insert, then extrude, insert, extrude out, Control B to bevel out, to bevel something, bevel this like that, shade smooth, and extrude back like that. Now we can select these, turn on auto smooth, so maybe change the auto smooth angle to something like 45, and you can also just add IV sphere inside that. So I'm just going to divide this so that I reduce on the number of polygon count we have. So this will be the inside of the camera, just like that. And I think we can duplicate this a few times. So Shift D. Can be something like that. Not sure if that's a more convincing camera, but yeah, we'll just go with that. Let's give it a more reflective surface and maybe some clear coat. And then this surface here should get the glass material. And this surface should get whatever material this is, so just call this clear. I'm going to reduce on the roughness we are having here, so let me just switch from this to a color, mix RGB, have this as color 1 and this as color 2. And just play with the factor. And I think this is not metal. Yeah, I think this looks much cooler. Let's make it a bit more reflective. And hide our glass. And our glass shouldn't have this bevel. Should be completely smooth. I'm going to add, just use an accent color here. I think red would look far better there. for this bed here, let's see, we need to add in a few extra seams like you see here to make this look even more interesting. So let's break up this area here. So Ctrl B, make sure you have 3 edge loops like that. Then select that ring, Alt S to push that in like that. See how it adds some bit of detail there, which makes it quite more interesting. Now we can also copy his indicator here. And I'm just going to add a loop here, and maybe make this cut go something like that. Maybe just extend this around there. We're trying to create this here, but we don't want the same design here exactly. So what I'm going to do is just subdivide this to have something like this. Like that. Then bevel that, and if we extrude this along the Z, okay, I think we have lost our bevel here by doing that. Let's see why. When you have the bevel on and you have two vertices too close to each other, so let me show you. If you have this, you start to lose the bevel effect. So just trying to see what vertices are too close that we are losing that bevel effect. I think it's because this edge loop is non-continuous. So let's try and see if we can fix that. We want only about those edges to be subdivided. Okay, it seems we still have the same issue there. So what I'm going to do is just first remove this, or have this as a separate object instead of something attached directly to this. And see, when we remove that, we retain our bevel. So let's just select this face, Shift D to separate it, and then P to have it as its own object. And see, even the bevel is here. Might have to reduce that a bit. So for this, we're just going to extrude along the faces like that. And I just make sure that this edge here is not too pushed out. So something like that. Now we can again bevel this, or maybe just select this, insert it, and then extrude in, then insert again, then extrude out like that. Now that might actually work better than having this as the same object. Now this will use our tail light material, so this red light like that. Now let's see if this would work on this angle here. So I'm just going to make sure that this is using this car as the mirror objects. And now if I duplicate this, I can move it easily. I just need to align it. Let me just reset the origin. And to rotate this easily, I'm just going to select this edge, cursor selected, and then change the pivot point of this rotation to this cursor. So now we can rotate this much easier than before. Maybe we need to edit it in a few areas. So maybe I can pull these vertices just down a bit. Let me see. No, let me just do it here. Subdivide. So I think this is much easier than fidgeting with the edges. So I'm going to hit Shift D, then P. Then I can come back in here. Let me just aside this and remove those edges I've just added. Now we can select this piece. Again, we might have to change the bevel just a bit. Select everything, extrude along normals like that. Make sure you have even editing or even offset proportion. I wasn't sure of that. Push this out like that. Then we can do the same thing. Just let's see. Select these faces. Insert. You can even insert just a few times, and then just make sure that this edge is aligning correctly. Then we can select this edge loop here, then push it along, extrude it in, middle above. Have you tried making car with curves? Yes, I have, but I don't have the patience to complete something like that. A car really takes a lot of time to complete, and I usually want to complete my projects in at least a day or two. Completing a nice car that looks nice in a single day is a bit hard. And hello Side Latimo, thank you. So I think I also can add some side lights here that start from this door to this side here. So what I'm going to do is select this, and let's try something here that I have not tried before. Using the knife tool to cut. Okay, it doesn't really do that. I thought it could cut between different objects, but doesn't seem to be able to do that. So, but we can just cut from this surface. Let me just that. So what I'm doing here is just trying to have a light that seems continuous from this end, from this out here. Will you complete it with constraints and rigging? Haven't thought of that. But I guess why not? Yeah, so I'll see. Let's add. So let's make sure that this looks nice. So I'm just going to bevel this with a third edge loop, and then push that in like that. I think it affected my bevel, so let's see. Previously, that's how light my bevel was. So I might have to extend these out just a bit, these edge loops, so that I don't mess up my bevel too much. So push this in just a bit like that, and then here I can also insert this like that, then add a loop there, push that in, and then we can assign the light material onto that and that. I can select this. I think there's still a lot missing, but one of the things that we could add is some shocks to this. So let's add that. So I'm just going to add a plane, just delete all the vertices but one, and then go to the modifiers and use the screw modifier. Where is that screw? Then screw this, increase the iterations, and push this just reduce the steps just a bit, have something like that. That is not too high resolution. Then I can apply the screw and convert to curve, and then give this a bevel, shade smooth, and let's give it our metal material. I can bring this in. I think we can rotate it just a bit like that. Now also going to move these tires, just spread them out just a bit like that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use Alt D to duplicate this clear rotation, so that I just work on this on the outside, and I just changes I make to this will be applied to this, but I think what I need to do is first convert this into a mesh. Then I can use Alt D to create an instance of it. Now I can work on this here, and the changes will be applied to that. What I'm going to do here is add another circle, this time to the inside, like that. Then extrude that out like that. This is going to, we're going to give it our red material here. Sorry, should get our red material. Let's assign this to this. Shouldn't have that much roughness. I can add a loop maybe around there. Select this, hit Alt E, extrude that out. Make sure we have auto smooth, but the angle should be increased so that reduce on the sharpness on some of those areas. Select this, push that down, and this piece here can have a different material, a darker material, maybe that plastic, something like that. Now we can have this piece, give it a mirror modifier, select this as the mirror. You can see what we have. And I think we can rotate this around here, and also use Alt D to create another instance and rotate it like that, so that we have something like that. So that means our tires, all our tires are going to be pushed down just a notch. And maybe they will be scaled up. And like on this here, I'm also going to add, let me first get rid of these. Also going to add these seams here. So let's select how long did it take to get how long did it take you to get to this point so far? The length of the stream, because we started from scratch, which is 1 hour and 50 minutes, and I'm soon ending this stream so that I can get some rest. So I want this. This here shouldn't be that continuous, so this shouldn't be that continuous. And I think what we can do is have this this part here detachable, gas door. Gas door, I'm not sure what you mean. Mebo, sorry, not Mebo. I think I want this to be detachable, this entire piece here. So let's just select it like that. Hopefully that's all of it, like that. Hit Y, then P, separate it into its own object. Now we can give it a separate material to make it to see how things will look here. Let's okay, on that red. We had a different red here. Maybe that makes it stand out too much. Actually, no. A gas cap. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to add that. I think it go here, around here. But I need to add that after I apply the mirror modifier. Otherwise, if I add it on this side with the mirror modifier, it will also be duplicated on this side. Now let's add a solidify modifier to this, but make sure we set thickness only rim, increase the thickness, and make sure this is above the bevel, so we have something like that. And that should give us a nice seam around there, but not on the car itself. So I'm just going to select a few of these edge loops here, extrude them down like that. Is there a way to bypass the mirror parts, or we should make a new object? The only way to bypass the mirror object, the mirror modifier, is to apply it. So yeah, if I tried subdividing this side, so the way I would handle that would just bevel an edge like this, increase the edge loops, change the profile, and maybe reduce the offset just a bit, hit F and then use Shift Alt S to have something like that. Then I would insert that, then add a loop like that, then push that in, and I would have that. But the problem with that is that I would also have it on this side, which usually doesn't make a lot of sense, because cars usually have this on one side, and yeah, I don't think there is a way to bypass this mirror modifier. The only way you would do it is to apply it and then work on this without the mirror modifier. You know what? Let me just leave it here for now. And here we can have something to cover up this side. Sometimes if you don't want to, another way to bypass the mirror modifier is just to add another object, like you said, to cover up the mirror side here, to break up that symmetry, which would be a nice thing, I think. What I'm also going to do, I'm going to use a boolean here. I think, let me just add a cursor there, and then maybe a cube like that, because I want to cut out a piece so that I have something like a hook around here. Apply the scale. Let me first hide this, then go to this, bevel this, make sure the bevel profile is set back to 1.5. Colin Sander, master, can I? Yeah, can I ask you to use screencast keys? It would be useful for you to, yeah, that is something I've planned on doing, but for some reason I always forget before I record. But I'll make sure, I'll try to use them in the next stream. So we're going to use this as a Boolean object. Let me even just first change its display to wire. Now I can select this and use that as a Boolean, and also select this, give it a Boolean as well. Select this, use as a Boolean. This should be above the bevel and above the mirror. Same here, it should be above the bevel, maybe also above the solidify modifier. I don't know, something like that. Now we can then, let's just apply that, then also apply it here. Yeah, then what we can do here, we have an endgun here that is creating a few issues, so let's try to minimize that first and see how we can proceed. Just have that. That. And then we can select this, extrude that in, hit F. Then let's work on this side. We can select, I think, this up to here, extrude that in the Z, make sure it aligns with this other one here. Also just going to round off this side. I'm also going to increase the auto smooth here to 45, just so I can capture more rounded corners here, which I'm not seeing, doesn't seem like I'm being able to do. But yeah, we have that, and now I think I can create a hook here, a few hooks here. So let's add this plane 90 degrees, rotate it on the X. I'm not sure, just for reference, let me find a hook. Okay, let's create ourselves a hook. I think we're just going to need a circle. Will you be rigging the car? Yeah, I'm thinking of that, but not in this stream. Let's use this. Can reduce the number of steps here, and okay, this This tool here, the spin tool, can sometimes be a bit finicky and hard to use, but it's a very useful tool. So this is going to be our hook. Now we can convert this to a curve so that we can give it some thickness like that. Shade smooth. I'm going to reduce the resolution a bit and select this this last edge and turn on proportional editing. Make sure this is set to connected. Use Alt S and you should have a nice hook. Then we can convert this back to a mesh. Merge. No, actually, I don't need to merge this, but I think I need to have this squished just a bit. I don't know. I think hooks don't look like this, but what we can do is extend this side here. First, turn off proportional editing. You need this to be a bit wide. Maybe then this. Turn on proportional editing. It can be scaled in back a bit so that we have a hook like that. Now we can also, just for detail, make this a bit more interesting. I'm just going to add a loop there and select those edges. Maybe insert this, then push it out just a bit, just for visual interest. I'm not sure if this is how hooks look. Turn on auto smooth. Something like that. Shade smooth. And let's increase this to 45 so we have something like that. You can also use a bevel here. Angle set to 45 as well. Yeah, something like that. Now this can be placed inside. Inside there. Now we can give it our metal material. This time, let's make it gold. Oh, yeah, gold. Also, don't forget to give it a mirror modifier. Select this to be a mirror object. I think this still needs to be a bit wider. Or maybe let's just use our regular metal. Yes, so we can start from here in the next live stream. This has already gone into a 2-hour stream. Let's just do some quick lighting just to see how this would look with some lighting set to it. Let's turn on ambient occlusion, bloom. Let's go to this here. And then change the environment lighting. Set the environment lighting. Just going to add area light here, square area light, just to give me some soft shadows. So let's try 6. And duplicate this. This one should be a little bit warm. Let me first turn off bloom here, and also make this a bit darker and more rough. Make sure you have contact shadow turned on for both lights. Now we can add in the lights themselves. Thank you, TY Tanium. Nice name. So this is going to be a blue light. Can duplicate this a few times. And we can also give our emission light can also duplicate this for the tail light. Blender Wizard, thank you. And also add in some lights to the inside. It won't look that good because we don't really have anything there, but we can try and see. Yeah, I think tomorrow we can continue working on this and improving on it. Today was just creating the base and seeing how it looks. Yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Let me share my Discord. If you want to just follow some of the work and the renders we managed to pull out of these live streams, I can go to there and share your work. If you have managed to do anything, it doesn't even have to be what you have done through following the stream. It can just be any work you are doing. Maybe if you also have YouTube channels that you want other people to check out, you can also throw them in there. Maybe I'll also have a look at them and see. Let me just get the link. You can see we haven't posted a lot, but this is what I rendered from the previous piece, from the previous tutorial. which was about let me see if I can find it. Interior train. I mean, if you were not around when we were making that, yeah, this is what we made. And you can check it out. I'll be adding more improvements to it as well, because it's not really done. I just didn't want to repeat the same live stream over too many times. But anyway, thank you.